Welcome back, guys. Let's begin the episode here. And I'm charging the Sherman. I'm doing Uber Eats super far from my house, near the beach. That's like over that hill is the beach, like 200 feet away. And it was raining. I've got some interesting things to talk about. What I was gonna do is come here and do a beach ride, but it started raining heavily. And then when I looked at the beach, it's all like high tide, so there's nowhere to ride. There's nowhere to even walk. Like the tide is way out to the, to the rocks basically. Got my boost. So yeah, let's talk about rain for a bit. Cause back maybe 6 months ago, I reckon, I said that I thought riding in the rain was a bad idea, like a super bad idea, because what I said was that you can get drops going into your EUC. Like, let's just say one droplet of water, and you don't know what's going on in there, you know? Like, you could have water getting into some place, some part near the circuit board maybe, like the main board. And you might think everything's okay, you know, you might go for a ride in the rain, get home, nothing bad happened, all good. Get out the next day and do it again. But then one day, that droplet of water that got inside might make its way to somewhere that it can create a short circuit, and that'll cause a cutout, you know? Like, that's all it takes really, is one tiny short circuit in the wrong spot and you'll get a cutout instantly. Or you could even fry the board. But I disagree with that now. I mean, it's kind of true, you know, like it could happen. But the reason I was so cautious back then is because I had never opened my EUC. I rode for like over a year without ever touching my EUC. I didn't even take off the side covers, not even the pedals, nothing. I just rode it and charged it. Rode and charged. And that's all I ever did. So in my head, I didn't really know what was going on inside the EUC. I didn't know what they looked like really. I didn't watch any like videos where they take them apart, you know, like. So it was a mystery to me, you know, it was like, I was just thinking of the worst case scenario. Now though, I would say if you know your EUC, then you can ride in the rain confidently. You know, like, if you know, let's say you ride in the rain all winter, not all winter, let's just say you ride in the rain for a week. And then like a week later, let's say you open your EUC, look inside the main board, and you notice there's no water in there. So then you know, okay, this EUC can handle the wet. Well, at least it's not going to let water into the main board. Or near the main board, you know. Let's say you found a pool of water near the main board. Then you'd be like, okay, I'm not riding this thing in the rain anymore. I was just lucky that this pool of water didn't, you know, get onto the main board. So those are my thoughts now. And moreover, riding in the rain is awesome. And I did ride in the rain, by the way. Like I said, I'm like 30 kilometers from my house now. So like nearly 20 miles. And it was basically a ride in the rain the whole time. But I did stop for a bit. Like, I don't want to get all soaked either. Like that's no fun. But, you know, I let water get on my EUC. I'm not super worried. I'm not that worried at all, really. Because, like I said, I have opened my Sherman now enough times to know that, damn, it's loud, isn't it? To know that it's all good, you know, you can ride in the rain. And, you know, for the most part, it's fine. Like, I reckon even a really thick thunderstorm, it would still be no problem. Because it's well sealed enough. And the way these things are designed, there's not really much going on. You know, they're so simple. All they got to do is seal a couple of like key points. You know, the sides, the top, the motor as well. You want that sealed. And that's it. As long as you don't let a single drop of water in, it's freaking essentially waterproof. Like, not waterproof. You can't, you know, go underwater with it, but Imagine if you could. I bet you they could design an EUC that you can fully submerge. You know, like, let's say for even 5 minutes and then take it back out and it's fine. How awesome would that be? Then then you would have like 100% confidence that you can ride in the rain. And look, I'm wearing this thick jacket too because of the rain, because I knew it might rain. You know, it's not my normal EUC attire. And I also bought some new shin pads, guys. Interesting. I'll talk about these in another episode though, because I love them though. These are awesome. They're better than the Liats. I had Liats before. They're very similar, but they're better. I'll explain that way in another episode. Oh, I just dropped it. And look, there it goes. How interesting. But anyway, yeah, I'll just pick that up actually. Riding in the rain is awesome because... Oh, actually, before I go on to that, I'll just tell you something interesting that happened yesterday related to riding the rain. I was on the way to the shops. I told you I'd do my daily shopping every day, obviously if it's daily. And I do it on my EUC pretty much every time, unless it's like pouring with rain or something, you know, then I might just take the car. And in the past, even if it was light rain, I would still take the car or the scooter, the motor scooter. But nowadays, I'll take the EUC if it's not like super heavy rain. If it's super heavy, I just won't use it because I don't want to get myself wet. It's not about the EUC, it's just for my own sake. And anyway, so I was riding to the shops and it started raining. And I noticed the rain cloud was like in front of me. It was like towards the direction I was headed. So I thought, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go back home because I can escape this rain. You know, if I keep going in that same direction, I'm going straight into that thunderstorm and I'm going to get all soaked. So I thought, all right, I'm going to turn around, run away from the rain. And I did. I managed to escape the rain. And then I looked back and it was like, oh, it's all gone now. So like I could turn around. Okay, I'm going to go back to the shops now, back the way I was going originally. All dry now, like the rain stopped. And then I got to this traffic light, guys. This is so weird. And I'm standing there and I had this helmet on, by the way. Like the way I had it on was like this. Right? So I had this top bit blocking the vision upwards, if that makes sense. So I couldn't see directly upwards. And I'm standing here at this super long traffic light. It's like peak hour, you know, it's like 5 p.m. Rush hour. I'm standing there for like literally 5 minutes at this traffic light. And I'm standing like a pedestrian, by the way. I'm not like with the cars standing there. And it's not raining, like I said. It stopped raining. But then suddenly I realized, dude, it's raining again. How weird. Because I couldn't feel anything. Like literally directly in front of me, like 1 or 2 feet in front of me, there was rain. And nothing was hitting me. Not a single drop. And I was like, wait, is this right? So I took my, you know, like I said, I had my helmet on. And I was like, dude, wait, is it raining or not? I took my helmet off to see if I could feel any rain hit me. Nothing. It was nothing. But 2 feet in front of me, there was like plenty of rain, you know, like enough so you could see it in the, you know, at nighttime even. And I noticed on the opposite side of the traffic light, the guy that was standing there was getting all soaked. Like it was decent amount of rain. That's weird, huh? I've never seen, like I have seen the edge of the rain before, you know, like sometimes you can see, oh look, the rain stops there, but it's like far away kind of thing. This was like 2 feet in front of me, but the weirdest thing was that it was at the traffic light where I was waiting, and it wasn't there when I got there. You know, I got there, there's no rain at all. Like a minute later, I noticed, wait, it's raining, but it's not. You know, it's like the rain is there, but it's not hitting me. It was so weird, guys. But anyway, that's that story. I was on my Sherman too. The story, oh yeah, the other thing I want to mention about riding in the rain, why it's awesome is, it's kind of physics related actually. It's so good. Mango Passion Go from Boost. Look it up. No, I don't want to. I'm not sponsored by anyone, but I genuinely love this drink. Like I drink it like every day, no shit. But anyway, when you ride in the rain, it's like a different kind of feeling. And the best thing, my favorite, is riding on a wet road with no rain. So like straight after the rain. When you ride in the rain, how can I put this? What do you call it? The rolling resistance of the road is reduced, right? You've got less grip, true, but you've still got plenty of grip. With the Sherman tire, with that knobby tire, you've got lots of grip. It's like super still. I reckon you could lean it to its max lean and still you wouldn't slip. You know, like do a really hard corner on a wet road. I haven't tried that yet, but I reckon it could do it and it wouldn't slip. I might try one day. I just don't want to like fall on the road, you know. But yeah, so you've still got plenty of grip. You lose grip, of course, but you've got lots still. So you've got plenty of control. And at the same time, you've reduced your rolling resistance. Which means, what rolling resistance is, it's basically like drag. You know, you got like wind drag, air drag. The air's, you know, you're pushing into the wind and that'll slow you down. Like if you stop the power, let's just say in a car, right? Let's say you're rolling along, you're coasting along at, let's say 40 miles an hour. And then you let go of the accelerator or like put it in neutral, let's say. The car will slow down because of the wind, right? Everyone understands that. But also the rolling resistance is another source of drag. So even if you had no wind resistance, let's say you're in a vacuum, you'd still coast to a stop eventually because of the rolling resistance. And unlike wind though, I don't think rolling resistance is proportional to velocity. You know, with wind, the faster it's moving, the more force it applies on you. But with rolling resistance, I think, oh look, the sun. That's beautiful, isn't it? See, that's the cloud that was attacking me earlier today. I was running away from that cloud. I was ducking for cover. It was giving me a hard time, guys, but we made it, and now it's on its way out, and the sun's come out. But anyway, the rolling resistance is like I explained, it's just a source of drag. And I don't know about what I just said at the end there, if it's proportional to velocity, but I don't believe it is. I believe that it stays constant, although maybe I could be wrong about that. What it might be is that it's directly proportional to velocity. So like with wind, it's proportional to the square of velocity. So if you double your speed, you times your force by 4. The force gets amplified 4 times just by doubling your speed, right? But with rolling resistance, it might just be a direct relationship. So double it and you double the force. I don't know. But anyway, it's not really important. The thing is that when the road gets wet, you've reduced the rolling resistance, right? At any speed. So you're kind of gliding on this, like, it's like being on a rail or something. Like a train, you know, like a train is so efficient because it has such little rolling resistance. Because you've got like a metal wheel on a metal rail, and there's very little friction between those two, right? They don't need much friction because they don't accelerate hard, and when they corner, they don't need friction to hold them on track because they're on rails, right? They're like locked onto this rail basically. You know, on the sides they've got like a force, you know, like a lip holding them in. So it's kind of like that. It's kind of like being on a train track, on a roller coaster. You're coasting freely, gliding, wheelie. You know, you're like... The result is that basically you can go faster. I believe you could, as long as... I mean, with a Sherman, it's not like... Or any faster you see, it's not like it matters, right? Because your top speed is already ridiculous, so most people won't even go near, you know, and you don't want to go, like top speed of a Sherman is supposedly 85 or something, Ks. So like 50 miles per hour. And most people don't go near that anyway, right? Because once you get past that, you fall down. So no one wants to like push that limit. So it's kind of not really relevant. But let's say we had, like, we didn't have that issue, right? Let's say we could just gun it full throttle like a motorbike and not worry about those things. Then you could actually probably attain a higher top speed if you didn't run out of grip, right? If the grip wasn't the limiting factor. So like I said, when it gets wet, when the road gets wet, it gets more slippery. And that could restrict your top speed. But as long as it had enough grip at top speed, then less rolling resistance will increase your top speed. But I'm not sure which one will come first. You know, it depends on many factors, like how much power do you actually have to begin with, and you know, what type of tire and all that. But most of all, it's just the feeling, I reckon. It's like, it just feels awesome, you know, because of that coasting sensation of free gliding, like I said. But you're not on a rail, are you? You're free to go anywhere. You feel like you're on a rail, but you've got the freedom that you always had. And it just looks awesome, I reckon. Like, I notice people really look at you funny when you're in the rain, going fast especially. Because they're like, wait, how does, even when it's dry, you know, they're like, how's this thing even moving like that, you know? And when it's wet, they're like, what? You know, it's like, it blows people's minds like twice as much. And that's about it, I reckon. This is mostly, let's see how long we've gone for. Oh, 17 minutes, decent. Because this is just going to be like a filler episode. Because like I told you guys, my next episode will be upgrading my pedal hangers. And that is, oh man, that's like, for me at least, it's an exciting thing, because the Sherman is basically perfect in every sense of the word, except for those pedals. And that's where it really falls down, if you know what I mean. They're just too low. Just way too low. I look at some of these other wheels and I can see their pedals are like super high. You know, those, whoever made those wheels, they themselves must be riders, because they understand why you want higher pedals, right? And I look at like the S20, S22, whatever you call it. It's got like super high pedals. And I'm like, when I look at that, I'm like, dude, that's what I need, you know? Look. Then I look at Sherman, it's like, what have they done to you? Like, who did this? You know, who, like, whoever did it, they don't ride. And they didn't know what they were doing, basically. But at least you've got that upgrade. You know, you can do the upgrade, but I highly doubt it's going to put it on par with like the S20 or whatever, you know, Gotway wheels. They've all got very high pedals. And I'm super keen to try some of these pedals, guys. Like, I'll explain why, because, and I'll probably explain this, you know, in different ways in the past, but I'm getting way better at drifting this thing, right? I can drift, especially on the sand, like, but anywhere, dirt, sand, gravel, even on the road when there's like leaves, or even sand on the, you know, on the pavement. But the thing is that to really drift like freely and easily, all you need to do is lean the EUC over into a corner hard enough so you break the traction, right? That's the simplest way to do a drift, or like to get the wheel to slide sideways, is to just take a hard corner on a slippery surface with enough lateral force. So you need enough of a lean angle. You need to be cornering hard enough, essentially. Like in physics terms, it means you need to have a certain level of centrifugal force, right? When you take a corner, there's a centrifugal force that wants to put you back in a straight line, right? And the centripetal force is what holds you into the corner. So you need to be applying enough centrifugal force that the road is unable to provide the centripetal force to bring you back into the corner, right? So what's the result's going to be is that you start sliding because you've run out of grip. And that's it. It's that easy. It's that simple. All you need to do is take a hard corner, lean it sideways into the zone of traction loss, and then you start sliding. But when you can't do that, when your pedals are too low, it's physically impossible, right? And the only way to get it sliding is to twist your body, like twist your hips, and it just makes it harder and less, well, you can't do it as fast. You need to be moving slower, because the faster you move, the more you need to lean to do a stable corner. And so that's what I find myself like doing, like on this Sherman. I can, like, I'm comfortable now, I'm confident to just lean this thing anywhere, basically, like on this, like on sand, gravel, whatever, like I said. Whereas in the past, I wasn't, you know, I was always scared of sliding out, you know, falling. And even though I still did drifts back then, I did it with a lot more fear and less confidence. Now I just know what's going to happen. I know, okay, I slide this way, you know, it's going to keep control. But I'm limited by these damn pedals. And until then, I won't be able to like push my skills further because of that limit, basically. I'm just looking at the Sherman. But yeah, it's just that, basically. It's just a limitation, you know. There's something else, like it gets a bit complex. Like, yeah, I know what I'm explaining is a bit, you know, in depth kind of stuff, but it's also related to your speed. So like I said, I have trouble leaning enough because of the low pedals to break traction. But if I'm moving fast enough, then I can still do it because of the way physics works. It's just, it works out so that at a higher speed, you don't need to lean as much to start breaking that traction. But that also means you can't corner as tight, right? The tighter you want to corner, the more you need to lean anyway. But I've noticed at high speed, I can still drift this thing. Just not the way I want to do it though, you know? Like it's kind of more of a tame kind of drift. Where it's just like, you know, just for like a second kind of thing. I can't lean it over and drift it the way I want to. And it just feels like I can kind of in my head, I can do a simulation of what it will be like with high pedals. And I just kind of know that it's going to be awesome. You know, it's going to be like the bomb. I just can't wait. I can't wait to try some high pedals, man. It feels like I'm on training wheels or something, you know, like I'm on a beginner wheel that's just, it's almost like a tricycle because you've got one wheel in the middle and two super low pedals that basically touch the ground. So you got 3 points of contact. You don't, I know, like they don't touch the ground, but it just feels that way. I feel like, yeah, like it's a beginner wheel because of those low pedals. And it is. I reckon that's a good way to look at it. In my opinion, if you are a beginner, it'll be a lot easier learning with lower pedals. Although I don't think it's necessary. Like it might even be better to start on high pedals so you get the feel of it. But it would be easier to learn with lower pedals for sure. That's it. Yeah, that's the episode for today, guys. And I'm doing Uber Eats, like I said. Got my charger. Oh yeah, I'll just talk about one. Look, 95 volts. One more thing I might just finish up with, but I'll do an episode on that by itself in the future. Is that I still get range anxiety on this thing. You know, range anxiety. where you're like thinking about your battery. We're just gonna leave it here, guys, because I ended up talking quite a lot and I don't want to make this video too long. So part 2, I'll just put it up like tomorrow or something, and that'll be the rest of the conversation, because I talk about like range anxiety and can't remember what else. It was like something interesting. I'm trying to remember what it was, but it doesn't matter. Let's just leave it for part 2 and we'll see you then.